You disgusting beggar! How dare you touch me with your filthy hands! Do you know who I am?
The slap echoed across the Garki district sidewalk like a gunshot. Vanessa Morgan's hand connected with the old beggar's weathered face with shocking force. But she wasn't done. Her fist clenched, and she punched him directly in the eye, sending his reading glasses flying across the pavement. "You disgusting beggar!" Her voice cut through the afternoon air like a blade. "How dare you touch me with your filthy hands? Do you know who I am?" The elderly man staggered backward, hand covering his rapidly swelling eye. Around them, a crowd gathered, some gasping, others pulling out phones to record. But Vanessa wasn't finished with her tirade. "Look at yourself. You're worthless. Useless. People like you are why Nigeria can't move forward, lazy, begging, refusing to work." She jabbed her manicured finger at him. "If you ever come near me again, I'll have you arrested. You have no right to even breathe the same air as me." What Vanessa didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have imagined as she stormed into the boutique leaving the beggar bleeding on the sidewalk, was that the man she'd just assaulted was about to walk into her engagement party 3 weeks later. Not as a beggar, but stepping out of a G-Wagn convoy that would change her life forever. But before I tell you how this arrogant woman's world came crashing down, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and what your local time is right now. Let's get into this story. Vanessa Morgan was everything Abuja's elite aspired to be. At 28, she'd conquered social media with 300,000 Instagram followers who watched her every move. As the face of Eclat Noir, Nigeria's most exclusive perfume brand, her life was a carefully curated gallery of private jets, champagne brunches, and designer everything. Her beauty was undeniable: smooth skin, piercing eyes, a smile that could light up any room. But that smile had two versions. One for the cameras, warm and inviting. Another for everyone she considered beneath her status, cold and contemptuous. Williams Okonkwo first saw the camera-ready smile. At 32, as heir to Okonkwo Petroleum Limited, one of West Africa's largest oil empires, Williams was used to people wanting something from him. Money, access, status. But Vanessa seemed different. "She has her own success," he told his friends. "Her own money. She doesn't need mine." What Williams never witnessed were the moments between the Instagram posts. The way Vanessa snapped her fingers at waiters like they were dogs. How she mocked delivery drivers for their cheap clothes. The cruel laugh she reserved for anyone driving a car older than 3 years. Even her mother saw it. Jane Morgan, a 58-year-old retired schoolteacher, would call every Sunday from Enugu with the same warning. "Vanessa, pride comes before destruction, my daughter. Mama, please." Vanessa would wave her hand dismissively at the phone screen. "I'm not proud. I just know my worth. There's a difference." But there was someone else watching. Someone whose instincts had been sharpened by decades of business dealings and one disastrous marriage. Someone who would test Vanessa in a way she never saw coming. Benjamin Okonkwo hadn't built a petroleum empire by ignoring his gut instincts. At 64, the billionaire patriarch had seen it all. Hostile takeovers. Political schemes. People who smiled while sharpening knives behind their backs. So when Williams brought Vanessa to the Maitama estate for the first time, Benjamin played the perfect host. He asked about her work. Complimented her success. By evening's end, he told his son he was happy for him. But that laugh of hers, too practiced, too calculated, left him unsettled. "Something's not right," he told himself that night. "I can't explain it, but something's off." 3 days later, Benjamin got his answer. Every Thursday afternoon, Benjamin Okonkwo did something that would shock most people who knew him only as a billionaire. He went to News Corner in Was Market, a small newspaper stand where locals gathered to debate politics over palm wine. No designer clothes. No bodyguards. No one treating him differently because of his bank account. Just Benjamin in simple clothes, reading The Guardian and enjoying honest company. Mama Chitty, who owned the stand, always saved him a seat. That Thursday started like any other. Until the screaming started. A cream-colored Range Rover Sport had stopped abruptly near the market entrance. A woman's voice, sharp with rage, cut through the afternoon chatter. Benjamin looked up from his newspaper. His blood ran cold. It was Vanessa. An elderly street vendor, Mom Ngozi, had accidentally bumped her basket against the Range Rover, leaving the smallest scratch on the rear bumper. Vanessa exploded from the vehicle like a storm given human form. "Are you blind?" Vanessa's voice could have stripped paint. "Do you know how much this car costs? More than your entire miserable life." Mama Ngozi trembled, her weathered hands shaking. "Madam, I'm sorry. I did not see it. I'm going to pay." "Pay? With what?" "Your poverty." Vanessa's laugh was cruel, mocking. "Look at you. You can't even afford decent clothes, and you want to pay for a Range Rover repair." Benjamin sat frozen at his newspaper stand, watching his future daughter-in-law reveal her true nature. This wasn't stress. This wasn't a bad day. This was who Vanessa really was when no cameras were watching. The vendor apologized repeatedly, offering everything she had, but Vanessa just stood there, arms crossed, enjoying the woman's humiliation like it was entertainment. That evening, Benjamin told Williams everything. "Son, I need to tell you what I saw today at the market." Williams's face hardened as Benjamin described the scene. But when his father finished, Williams shook his head. "Dad, that doesn't sound like Vanessa. Maybe you're mistaken." "Williams, I know what I saw. Or maybe she was stressed. You don't know what she might have been dealing with." Williams's voice carried an edge Benjamin recognized. The stubborn blindness of a man in love. "I love her, Dad. And I know her. She's not like that." Benjamin had heard those exact words before. From his own mouth, decades ago, defending Williams's mother before the wedding. Before he learned she'd only married him for access to his wealth. Before years of misery taught him that love without character is just beautiful poison. He wouldn't let his son drink from the same cup. But Williams wouldn't believe words alone. He needed proof. Undeniable, recorded, impossible to dismiss proof. Benjamin spent 2 weeks planning his test. He hired a discreet security firm to outfit him with hidden cameras, one in a shirt button, another in a pair of reading glasses. He studied Vanessa's social media like a detective studying a suspect. The girl documented everything, making it easy to identify her patterns. Every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, she visited her perfume boutique in Garki district. Same route. Same time. Same predictable schedule. On a Friday morning, Benjamin transformed himself. The Italian leather shoes came off, replaced by worn rubber slippers. The tailored agbada was swapped for a faded, torn shirt and trousers. He rubbed dirt on his face and hands. In the mirror, he no longer saw a billionaire. He saw exactly what Vanessa would see, someone beneath her level. Someone worthless. He told no one of his plan. Not his driver. Not his assistant. This secret was his alone. At 2:30 p.m., Benjamin positioned himself outside Blanc Boutique, where Eclat Noir had a flagship counter. At 2:47, right on schedule, the cream Range Rover pulled up. Vanessa emerged like she was walking a runway. White designer pantsuit. Hair in an elegant ponytail. Oversized sunglasses. Phone pressed to her ear, laughing about something, completely absorbed in her own world. Benjamin shuffled forward, his hidden cameras recording everything. "Madam, please. Anything. I haven't eaten since morning. Just small money for food." Vanessa didn't even look at him. She sidestepped, still talking on her phone about meeting someone for drinks later. Benjamin gently touched her arm. "Madam, please hear me. What happened next would be viewed by millions within weeks." Vanessa yanked her arm away like Benjamin was diseased. "Don't you dare touch me with your filthy hands." "Madam, I just need—" The slap came first. Sharp. Vicious. Hard enough to send Benjamin's fake glasses flying. But Vanessa wasn't satisfied. Her fist clenched, and she punched him directly in his left eye with shocking force. Benjamin staggered backward, genuinely shocked by the violence. His eye exploded with pain. But he said nothing. Just watched as Vanessa revealed exactly who she was. "You disgusting beggar! How dare you put your dirty hands on me? Do you know who I am?" She advanced on him, and Benjamin actually took a step back. "Look at yourself. You're useless. Worthless. People like you are why this country can't move forward. Lazy, begging, refusing to work." A crowd had formed. Some held up phones, recording. Others watched in horror. One woman tried to intervene. "Madam, he's just asking for help. Mind your business." Vanessa snapped at her. "If you love beggars so much, you feed him." She turned back to Benjamin one final time. "If you ever come near me again, I'll call the police and have you arrested for assault. Get away from my car before I run you over." Then she stormed into the boutique, leaving Benjamin on the sidewalk, his eyes swelling rapidly, his heart heavy with confirmation. But the cameras had captured everything. When Benjamin returned home that evening, Williams was reviewing contracts in the study. He looked up as his father entered, and immediately shot to his feet. "Dad, your face. What happened to your eye?" Benjamin's left eye was swollen nearly shut, already turning a deep purple. His cheek bore the clear imprint of fingers. "I fell," Benjamin said. "Tripped on some uneven pavement in the market." "That's not a fall injury." Williams's voice went cold. "Someone hit you." "Who?" "Just an accident, son. Nothing to worry about." But Williams wasn't fooled. He knew his father. The man was careful, calculated, not prone to accidents. Still, Benjamin's expression made it clear the conversation was closed. For 3 weeks, Benjamin said nothing about Vanessa. He attended wedding planning meetings, smiled at engagement party discussions, approved vendor selections, all while the encrypted video sat in his office safe, waiting. Williams noticed his father's distance but attributed it to wedding stress. Vanessa, meanwhile, was in her element. This engagement party would be the social event of the season. 3 television stations would cover it. 500 guests. The Transcorp Hilton Ballroom transformed into a crystal palace. Everything was perfect. Everything was going according to Vanessa's carefully curated plan. She had no idea what was coming. The night of the engagement party arrived with all the glamour Vanessa had dreamed of. The ballroom looked like something from a fairy tale. White roses cascaded from every surface. Champagne fountains sparkled under massive chandeliers. Abuja's elite turned out in designer gowns and custom tuxedos. Media crews from 3 television stations positioned themselves strategically. Vanessa looked stunning in her custom silver gown. Her makeup was flawless. Her smile brilliant. She worked the room like the brand ambassador she was, greeting guests, posing for photos, accepting congratulations with practiced grace. William stood beside her in a designer tuxedo, beaming with pride. Everything he'd ever wanted seemed to be coming together. But one person was conspicuously absent from the receiving line. "Where's your father?" Vanessa asked Williams during a quiet moment. Several guests had asked the same question. "He said he'd be here. Maybe he's running late." At exactly 7:30, just as waiters began serving dinner, the ballroom's main doors opened. The room went silent. Outside, visible through the floor-to-ceiling windows, a convoy had pulled up. 3 black Mercedes G-Wagons, the kind that screamed serious wealth and power. Tinted windows. Chrome gleaming under the hotel lights. Hotel security scrambled to accommodate them. From the center vehicle, a figure emerged. Benjamin Okonkwo. But not the Benjamin who'd been quietly attending planning meetings. This was Benjamin the billionaire, commanding, imposing, dressed in an immaculate black agbada with intricate gold threading that probably cost more than most people's cars. 4 imposing bodyguards in black suits flanked him, their presence commanding and unmistakable. They moved in perfect formation, scanning the room with professional precision. The crowd murmured, confused. This level of security, this dramatic entrance, what was happening? Vanessa's smile faltered. Something was very, very wrong. She glanced at Williams beside her and saw confusion mirroring her own on his face. Benjamin walked through the ballroom, every eye tracking him. His bodyguards maintained their protective perimeter. The champagne conversations died mid-sentence. Even the waiters stopped moving. He reached the stage where the 5-tier engagement cake stood. His bodyguards positioned themselves strategically as a technician quickly set up a projection screen behind him. Benjamin took the microphone. His voice, amplified, carried absolute authority. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us to celebrate what should have been a joyous occasion. Should have been. Past tense. The words hung in the air like smoke. I'm Benjamin Okonkwo, and I owe you all an apology for what you're about to witness. But more importantly, I owe my son the truth. Vanessa's face went pale. In the front row, her mother Jane Morgan closed her eyes, as if she'd known this moment would come eventually. 3 weeks ago, Benjamin continued, his voice steady, I disguised myself as a beggar to test the character of the woman my son intended to marry. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vanessa grabbed Williams's arm, but he was staring at his father, frozen. What I discovered broke my heart, not for myself, but for my son, and for any family who would welcome someone capable of such cruelty into their lives. Benjamin nodded to the technician. The projection screen blazed to life. The video played in crystal clarity. High definition. Every detail visible. The sidewalk outside Blanc Boutique. Benjamin shuffling forward in his beggar disguise. His gentle request for help. Vanessa's dismissive sidestep. And then, the touch. The explosion of rage. The slap that sent the glasses flying. The punch that connected with brutal force. Benjamin staggering backward, hand covering his eye. But worst of all was Vanessa's voice, amplified through the ballroom speakers. You disgusting beggar! How dare you touch me with your filthy hands? Look at yourself. You're worthless. Useless. People like you are why Nigeria can't move forward, lazy, begging, refusing to work. The ballroom was absolutely silent except for Vanessa's recorded voice continuing its tirade. The video went on. And on. Nearly 3 minutes of sustained cruelty, each second more damning than the last. When it finally ended, 500 people turned to stare at Vanessa. Her silver gown, which had seemed so elegant moments before, now looked garish under the lights. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. No words came. Williams stepped away from her. His voice came out hollow, distant, like he was speaking from underwater. 3 weeks ago, my father told me what he'd seen you do to that vendor in the market. I didn't believe him. I told him he was mistaken, that you were just having a bad day. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. But a bad day doesn't make you punch an old man in the face. A bad day doesn't make you call another human being worthless. That's not stress, Vanessa. That's who you are. Williams, I didn't know. Vanessa reached for him, tears streaming down her face, but he stepped back like she was toxic. Didn't know what? That he was my father. That he was rich. Williams's voice rose. So if you'd known he was wealthy, you would have treated him with respect? Don't you see? That's exactly the problem. You only respect people who can benefit you. Benjamin spoke again, his voice gentle but firm, carrying to every corner of the ballroom. I tested you, Vanessa, because I needed my son to see what I'd already seen. You see, I've been fooled by appearances before. I married Williams's mother believing she loved me, only to discover she loved my money. I lost years to that mistake. I wouldn't watch my son make the same one. He turned to address the entire crowd, his expression sad but resolute. Let this be a lesson to everyone here. Wealth, beauty, success, none of these measure a person's worth. Character does. How you treat those who can do nothing for you, who cannot advance your career or boost your social status, that reveals your soul. And tonight, we've all seen Vanessa's soul. Vanessa finally found her voice, tears streaming down her face, mascara running in black rivers. I'm sorry. I didn't mean, please, Williams, I can change. Give me another chance. But Williams was looking at her like she was a stranger. Like he'd never really known her at all. The woman I fell in love with doesn't exist, does she? You were just better at hiding this side of yourself from me than from everyone else. But this is the real you. This is who you've always been. Jane Morgan, Vanessa's mother, rose from her seat and walked to the stage. Her face was lined with disappointment but also a strange relief, as if a long-expected reckoning had finally arrived. Vanessa, I warned you. 4 years, I warned you. Pride and cruelty would destroy you. She turned to Benjamin and Williams, her voice steady. I apologize for my daughter's behavior. She was raised better than this. Whatever she's become, that's a failure I must carry. Mama, no. Vanessa reached for her mother, but Jane gently stepped away. You need to learn this lesson alone, my daughter. I can't protect you from the consequences of your own choices anymore. That's clearly what I should have stopped doing years ago. Benjamin made one final announcement, his voice echoing through the stunned ballroom. The engagement is cancelled. This venue is paid for, the food is prepared, and the staff has worked hard. Please, everyone, stay and enjoy the evening. Let it be a celebration of truth instead of a union built on lies. He and Williams left the stage together, walking out through the same doors they'd entered, their bodyguards forming a protective shield around them. Vanessa stood alone under the lights, her silver gown now looking like armor that had failed to protect her. Around her, 500 guests began to whisper. Some left immediately. Others stayed, but no one approached her. The media crews kept their cameras rolling, capturing every moment of her humiliation. By morning, the video had gone viral. Not just in Nigeria, globally. #Abuja Beggar Engagement trended worldwide on Twitter. News stations from CNN to BBC Africa ran segments. Think pieces appeared in newspapers about class, character, and the importance of treating everyone with dignity. The video had been viewed 20 million times within 48 hours. Vanessa's sponsorships evaporated within 72 hours. Eclat Noir released a statement. We cannot associate our brand with someone whose values contradict our commitment to respect and inclusivity. Effective immediately, Vanessa Morgan is no longer affiliated with our company. 3 other brands followed within hours. Fashion Nova, Remy Martin Nigeria, Mercedes-Benz West Africa. All of them severed ties, desperate to distance themselves from the scandal. Vanessa deleted her Instagram account after the flood of criticism became unbearable. Her boutique business suffered as former clients quietly took their patronage elsewhere. In Abuja's elite circles, where reputation was currency, Vanessa had gone completely bankrupt. But the most painful consequence came from the one person whose support she'd always taken for granted. Her mother sold her Abuja apartment and moved back to Enugu. Before she left, she visited Vanessa one final time. "I love you," Jane told her daughter. "But love without accountability isn't love, it's enabling. You need to find your own path forward now, without the safety net of family making excuses for your behavior." Vanessa tried to argue, to explain, to justify. But Jane simply kissed her forehead and left. Williams threw himself into work, healing slowly from the betrayal. The woman he'd planned to marry had never existed. She'd been a carefully constructed illusion, and his father had saved him from a lifetime of discovering that truth piece by painful piece. "Thank you," he told Benjamin one evening, months later. "I know you probably saved my life." Benjamin shook his head. "I just showed you who was already there. The courage to walk away, that was all you, son." If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more incredible true-to-life stories, and comment below what you've learned from this story. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to light. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next story.